What you gon' do? What you gon' do? What you gon' do? What you gon' do? What you gon' do?
Try and started polo with his wife. He then went on to the one. What is that place called? It's in New York. It's in 47th Street. And he said,
when you come back from the
the documentary.
come back from the
Yazi ubuye ithola ukuthi hayi sisaphoshona namanje awusahambi kuwani wama namajimos
I'm just happy that I'm in a barber shop fucking cutting my hair. Like, just money in band, I'm day one lockdown, nah in band. Day two lockdown, nah in band. So, well, I about present company, baby. No, I'm just saying I'm happy to be cutting my hair talking to my niggas. You know, just when you banding me, all my WhatsApp stories. Look, hey, I had a baby during COVID. It is one of the most strenuous things, okay? Because one, the sisters and my other kids who are his sisters are not allowed into the ward. I'm only allowed 1 day into the ward. So
Yeah, how was that experience? Like not being able to be there as much as you'd wanted to be there during that time.
Forget that. We had a whole baby shower planned, like in a hotel, and that didn't happen. So you can imagine for my wife, who this is her first kid, it was just like, am I really gonna have a baby under these circumstances? So it was great. We had a supportive family and everything, but we really haven't experienced having a baby in the true sense of the word. You know, with the nitty gritties. You know,
And I was so excited for you, bro. I was excited for you to have that experience because I feel like maybe you haven't had it not to make it seem like it's something bad.
Yeah.
But it was something you were going to experience for the first time.
Exactly, because I had my other two children when I was very young.
Yeah.
So for me, it was going to be the first time I'm actually having this child in wedlock. I'm
How
actually
old were you when you had your first kid?
21.
Damn!
I don't think Umhlaba has ever seen anything like this. Like, this was a first for everybody. Like, there's a lot of new learnings out of this. But it's been tough, yeah, well, through that toughness, we've also had to adjust, we've had to learn. Toughest thing for me is that obviously for the most part, most of us in here are in entertainment. Yeah, well, so hospitality and entertainment is every single thing that I know. Yeah, well. So prior to that, I'd never thought I'd go into the business of cleaner, sanitizer, disinfector, you know, I never this is what I do. Entertainment and umuntu bengaspani at all, like zero. Like it's the hardest thing, like not having an income. Like it hits you. Like you realize that no matter how much you might have saved, no matter how well your business might have been doing. In fact, if you weren't prepared enough, if you didn't have long money, if you didn't have easy to sustain you're going to be in trouble. But askali kakhulu because we survived and we made it through. One day we're going to talk about this and say, what the fuck, dog?
This pandemic has literally just taken so much away from you. How have you been able to adapt? What are the implications that you've been going through, having to open and close, dealing with staff, having to make sure that people are still, being maintained, because families are involved,
Yeah.
It's not just about you hiring 50 people, it's about the groups of 5, 6, 7 that are also, reliant on that money.
Yeah.
What is the impact that it has
generated from your business and even extending to you personally from that?
Yeah, look, Tina, I think the first thing that we maintained, Lapaya, is that in terms when it comes to staff, is that we don't want to have anybody lose their job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which kudos to you for doing that.
Yeah, and I think Wayne was the biggest advocate for that because obviously he understands a lot of stuff, like what it is to have a lot of stuff. Yeah, and the one thing he maintained was Wuti. We need a whatever happens, we need to make moves, but we mustn't have staff losing their jobs. We'll try whatever we can try, but we mustn't have staff losing their jobs.
Yeah.
To stay alive was another battle also because you've got the landlord coming in and saying they want their cut. Like I must buy food.
Negotiate with the landlord or did they want their cut?
No, they wanted it. Like yeah.
I don't need you to know.
Yeah.
As is.
Yeah, they want it as is, dog.
There's zero income, so you need to just box around that. There's things like that you have to deal with. Kind of on top of having to think about staff, on top of having to think about there's so many things that came with it. But the one thing we maintained, we've got a hell of a business, we've got a hell of a project, and we will go to the very end before we lose this thing. Because a lot of businesses closed, dog. Like they were selling the one building,
Murphy's.
Murphy's.
Did you see that the weekend it opened, they took down the sign?
Hey. That building started off at 22 million when they first put up that building. Yes, it rates about 17 million.
Well, that's 5 off the top.
Look, guys,
No.
for me, so maybe a lot of people know what I do.
I cuz.
So then it's like,
You do a lot, you got your fingers in a lot of pots.
so
A lot of pies.
I own a company called Intel and Fisk. Yeah, it's a capital firm. We invest in a lot of things. But, at first when I came in with, there's a friend of mine, his name is Pumi. He's a genius. And he said to me, Marvin, here are the sectors we must invest in. And those sectors were education, catering, logistics, security, and the like. So I never understood.
Was this a pre-COVID conversation?
No, this was a pre-COVID conversation. So I never understood it because I wanted the glamorous stuff. I wanted the property. I wanted the mining. When I think investment firm,
Short things.
You don't think because when you think mining, you think Patrice, you think property, you think
Forever
mine, ganjalo. So anyway, I was like, hey, ask me this. Then it's too rigid for me. It's very rigid. But what I found is that the sectors that were the most critical during COVID, security,
New boom.
healthcare, property was out. We've got a number of malls coming up in Durban, and none of them were operating as far as construction is concerned. But over and above that, besides that, tenants were pulling out.
Yeah.
Big tenants, guys that you thought are like really big. Like, look at Edcon today.
No, they're gone.
Yeah.
They've
I don't want to mention a lot of names because we're still affiliated to them. But all these guys, these big guys that you thought were like your anchor tenants. So when we have a bank and you have an anchor tenant like Edcon, you bank time, so we got money mobile, right?
Nice.
But all of a sudden, these guys, poof, gone. You were an employee as Edcon, and you thought your stuff, you thought you were really centered around Edcon, and now Edcon just goes up like that in smoke. So it's been a bit challenging, and it's an eye opener for me as an investment firm to say, Sure. However, thank God for the genius of the people around me.
So you're saying that what Pumi advised you was actually what saved you in terms of
course.
being in the business?
And I never saw it. I never saw it.
Benny, now I've got a question though. Like, during this whole time in COVID, we went through a bit of like a prohibition period where there was absolutely no alcohol in the country, right? But now, since the sale of alcohol has come back in the structure, has that now helped the business in terms of sales, or what's going on with that? Has it affected you negatively, positively? With the curfew, what's going on?
Peter, I dig that question. Ngoba, it's yabona how that thing, how it was structured. Uguti, your macros and bottle stores and whatever can sell from Monday to Thursday.
Yeah.
And then restaurants can. That's gonna highly assist in terms of pushing people to come out to restaurants.
Yeah.
Where I bought on the left because means that
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm looking at the past 2 weeks of trade, I mean they're very similar. They're very similar to the normal days. It's very similar to normal trading.
Yeah.
But the only difference there is that the time is now shorter.
Yeah.
Because we go all the way until 12. Yeah, 12. We can go as far as 2 a.m. really,
Yeah.
but we'd go up until 12 midnight. So with those 2 hours, especially at that time, those 2 hours matter. That's the time when people start spending money, like in terms of alcohol and whatnot. Yeah, yeah, between 10 and 12, yes.
My favorite so many guys you wish. I love the place. I play there, by the way. It's great. But we are envy. Those were my homes.
But also,
envy. Open on 7 on a Monday morning, and you have a board meeting. But like, on a Friday, after a hectic board meeting, you are going into Azar. In this room because you guys owned Azar and you guys were affiliates of you did affiliates of Azar and you guys owned Envy. So I just want to know, dog, when is that coming back and can we just like party on a Sunday?
Except it's this thing gave us a huge hit. There was, as Upen was saying, especially entertainment, like it come out of nowhere. Kubo stop. Are we planning like later? You didn't foresee it coming. No one foresee it coming. Even your mentors that you looked up to, like, hey, and that's a sad so it's in this situation. So I've learned a lot from this thing. Which you need to have your life planned out, no matter what, because there will always be a rainy day coming. Like this thing has always been spoken to say. Always these.
That's the best explanation. Rainy day.
Yeah, there will always be a rainy day coming.
And we never think about rainy.
And we do. And I would say I did not. I never thought you would say I won't have work.
Yeah.
I never thought you would say entertainment to velime.
Yeah.
None of that. So I didn't plan for the next 6 months, but obviously my savings weren't for 6 months. My savings for maybe for 2 months. But now we've gone into this thing. First it was 100. How long was it? 21 days. How do you go from 21 days?
That was a joke.
We had
what
now?
That was a joke. That was never going to be 21. Yes, started 21 days. I was like, this nigga.
Did you anticipate it to be 5 months?
No.
No.
So gang long eat gogon woods. I showcase 3 months then deliver 2 months, 3 months. I'm doing each other. Hey, what pay 3 months?
What would you do as the? Don't you think our president has the worst job right now or the hardest job?
Of course.
How?
But I commend him.
Okay, but
yeah,
how? What would you do? What would you do in a situation like? Put yourself in his shoes.
Yeah.
The one thing that I've seen from COVID. Now this includes the entire show I made, which it's forced everybody, every single one of us to think out the box.
Yeah.
because we were talking about the Penny earlier. We were faced with something that has never been seen. As my eyes. So, siyabona remind you, at least our people abasleep are able to think out the box, because I honestly think they've managed this pretty well.
What Dawood is saying is 210%. Your leadership determines how you go through this pandemic. If you look at Trump, we're an African country, supposedly third world, but we've dealt better with Trump. We're finding no slick. Yeah, let's say, and just China. Hey, I like it, dog. But what we've realized is that our government has taken it on and they've moved it. They've made us, because remember, Tinas now, our resources are found in America.
True.
So for us not to be able to curb the curve,
As swiftly as we were.
as swiftly that we did, means that we've got amazing leadership. But it also means, Tina, as a people, we listen to our government.
What are our plans? Where do we take it from here?
For me, savings. You know, I used to laugh at my mom, and they do something called a hospital plan, where when you sleep in hospital, you get like 15 grand. Or,
You know, but it ain't
Are
we calm? Are we calm?
Hey, what they shot up on the house, no bad.
Mulala is per day, for 15 days, it's like 1,000 rand a day, and you get 15,000. But also there's something called a salary protector, where if you lose your salary for 3 months. Yeah. You actually introduced me to my first one. So Buffett, we need to save. Sasso, you said to me in the show, you said I had 2 months worth of savings. But bro, maybe it's about time that we have 6 months of savings.
Yeah.
Definitely the conversation we need to engage with.
Yeah. Autopilot money.
But it just means being more responsible with money.
And our banks need to trust us.
Yeah.
Because a lot of my salaries were paid through my bank because they trusted me.
Yeah.
Our banks need to trust us.
You have a good credit score.
Benny, what does the future look like?
Well, I have a bank
From an artist and DJ perspective, I know what you're doing personally. But what does that look like for you? You know,
In a restaurant.
And then also as a businessman, like, what are you planning? What are you anticipating to happen? What's your goal point?
What are your new adjustments, basically, since you figured out that everything is fickle, you can wake up without a salary. So what do you do different now?
I think Marvin also show in terms of saving properly. You know, I mean, bro, there's again, maskuluma sonke as a business. But look at issue type of it. Firstly, we're a new business. We only opened in December 2019, so there's nothing. Even in our arguments to whoever we had to argue with, we were always saying we've never deferred from our business plan. Our business plan was always that. So I can't say there's now a new strategy on how to trade. No, it COVID, you figure, but the business plan was always on point. Everything
which is a plus for you guys. Even though it's a negative, it's still a plus because you had that contingency value from the start. We need to run for so long before realistically we start thinking about making money.
So then on a personal aspect.
Yeah, on a personal aspect, I got punched in the face.
Yeah, you thought you knew what's going on at all?
You thought I had a plan. I thought I had a plan until I got punched in the face.
Yeah.
Never. So yeah, for me personally, I've now need to learn to save better. I mean, I've got my own strategies of doing things. I mean, it's because I know what different seasons mean for me as an artist, for me as a event planner, for me as a, you know, or I know my season. So for example, we've just lost two of the biggest, or of the three biggest seasons in Durban. That's Easter, Durban July, and December. We've lost two of those things. Do you know how much money that is? You know, and that was going to be very good money for a new business.
Sure.
Yeah, but
I'm glad I have you guys, because, you know, one of the things that I struggled with during COVID-19 was
Mental health.
Mental health, you know. I remember telling Benny, I remember telling Sasso how bad it was for us, you know. For me, you know, I needed to really self-motivate myself because I didn't have you guys around in physical form to tell me everything's gonna be okay, you know, and you know, you've got to pay your mortgage, you've got to pay your office, you've got to pay your salaries, you've got to pay everything. And you don't have anyone to tell you, don't worry, it's going to be okay. You know? I remember thinking, is this the end of me? But I thank God that it's not.
You know, my friends, let me say something else. It really matters that to show Marvin, then it's good to have each other as friends. Yeah, because if I remember at a point about gents today.
I remember that day.
Today I'm not alright.
Yeah, I'm going through it.
Yeah, that day is when I gave up. I was broken. I was finished, dog. Like that day, I can't wish that on anyone. That I broke that day, dude. I absolutely broke that day. Wapela Yonki, I just had lost all hope. Yonki was falling apart. Yonki,
but what caused it? Was it the physical effect?
Everything. Gyakula lang ne COVID. Ngalana everything, like that's what happened. Like you watch everything fall apart. Yeah, everything that could go wrong was going wrong at that time. So I'm just saying, I'm very grateful to have friends. I'm very grateful to have this particular friendship here, because that day each person called just to say accept. You know, the phone call that got me out the trenches. Dash, what's it mean? About it being better right now, better and when I'm sure you feel like you better when a personal. But understand something. They understand the way now uban. They understand ukuthi uBenny. Njengoba uBenny namhlanje. What have you done to be Benny? Do you understand? Like all the shit that you've done, and he just started listing a mountain of shit that I've done, dog. Like, and he just said, "No way, dude. Like, you can't.
But you forget those things easily.
Yeah, because we're also very hard on ourselves. And he just said that whatever happens, dog, you can't be the guy that quits. You've done too much to be the guy that quits. Yo, Fitz, I will never forget that. Maybe I even cried. I might have should have thugged here, dog. Like, and that was the realest thing. That's why I'm usually good to my friends. Never underestimate friendships. They unlike abantu besifazane, they make friends and then I don't fuck with that girl no more. And you know, like it matters. Like friends matter, dog. Like, because especially in tough situations like this. And generally as niggas, like there's a lot of shit that's going on in the country, GBV and whatnot. So to have this friendship and we support emotionally, because now we're in daughter, emotional, you have certain feelings or you feel some type of way. So firstly, I appreciate my niggas for that. Like that's great to have that, and I wish more of that to other people. And it's a norm. Then they would say, hey, abafana ba group chat. No, dog. Like that's where the love is. You know, and that's it, dog. And that's it. Nice.